Hey, Ethan here, and in this episode we'll be looking at Call of Duty World at War, primarily for the Xbox 360. It's the last great World War II COD, but it's now time for some brief development history. Call of Duty World at War was developed by Treyarch after they released Call of Duty 3 in 2006, and Infinity Ward who released Call of Duty 4 in 2007, which was set in modern times compared to all the previous World War II games, and was then working on its sequel. Treyarch then decided to take the series back to World War II again with Call of Duty World at War, getting revealed in June of 2008 and then releasing on November 11, 2008 here in North America for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS, and PC, with the side game Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts releasing only for the PlayStation 2. With that out of the way, let's first talk about the campaign. World at War has two options to play the campaign. One was more graphic content or the graphic content reduced, meaning some of the blood and gore is reduced and certain words are blocked out. But I'm at the legal age to play these games, so we're playing the unrestricted version. But this is Call of Duty World at War. World at War's campaign takes place on two sides, with the Americans fighting the Japanese, which is a first for the series, and the Soviets fighting the Germans. The cutscenes are really cool, combining real World War II footage and 3D renders of objects and soldiers. It starts out as the Americans. You play as Private Miller captured by the Japanese and then watch your buddy get his throat slit, but just as a Japanese officer is about to kill you, you are then rescued by other fellow Marines. You then grab a weapon and go through the area while getting ambushed a few times and then reach a beach area where you take out Japanese soldiers and plant explosives and then escape by boat. We then ride in on boats for the next mission and get ambushed, causing us to have our boats explode and then order airstrikes, then make our way through the island and order airstrikes on the tanks, and then Sergeant Sullivan dies. We then move through part of a jungle and see a few of our soldiers die due to a booby trap by the Japanese and then get ambushed. We then move more inland, picking up a flamethrower to burn out the bunkers and reach a huge bunker and destroy it with grenade launcher tips of an M1 Grand Rifle. We then move towards a field using bazookas to take out Japanese tanks, and then after that head towards a big bunker to use a flat gun to take out Japanese reinforcements. It then switches to the Soviets with a very graphic and dark opening in the city of Stalingrad. You play as Private Dmitry Petrenko and then are introduced to a new character named Sergeant Reznov and talks about how he wants to kill German General Amsel and has to snipe German soldiers while planes go by. We then get spotted by a German sniper and proceed to take him out. After that, German soldiers discover movement in a building and then proceed to set it on fire, and has you and Reznov go for the burning building and then land in the street. Then Soviet reinforcements arrive, and then we proceed to kill General Amsel and then jump into a river and escape. 3 years then go by and Dmitry has been captured by the Germans but is then rescued by Reznov. We then fight through German trenches and take out German tanks and then reach a camp, killing every German soldier within it. It then switches back to the Americans, going through Japanese trenches and caves to take out mortar pits with a flamethrower. The next mission starts out riding in on tanks, better than ambush, and make our way through until we reach a cave and take out Japanese soldiers to destroy heavy artillery guns. It then switches back to the Soviets with the only tank mission, taking out tanks, artillery guns, and towers, and then get on a train at the end. We then get off the train and take out German soldiers by going through buildings and streets until we reach an asylum and then take out German soldiers at close range. We then reach the main streets of Berlin and take out every German soldier in our way. We then go through various buildings in Berlin to take out German soldiers and then have a massive airstrike happen in the streets and then go through a train station until it gets flooded with water. It then switches back to the Americans. You play as Petty Officer Locke on board a PBY Cantonese flying boat during the Battle of Okinawa and move back and forth between gunner positions, taking out merchant ships, PT boats, kamikaze fighter jets, and also rescuing other crew members. It then switches back to Private Miller and the others in the rain, getting ambushed and then eventually reach an area with Japanese bunkers and take them out using satchel charges and then reach a huge bunker and take out the remaining Japanese soldiers. Next up is the last American mission, with us having very little ammo and weapons. We then get ambushed and make our way through waves of enemies and tunnels while also using mortars to take out mortar pits. We then reach an area with Japanese soldiers surrendering and realize it's a setup, and then have the option to save either Sergeant Roebuck or Private Polanski. I chose Roebuck and then has us fighting off waves of enemies and call in airstrikes. Then Sergeant Roebuck gives us Polanski's dog tags, and that is the end of the Americans. It then switches back to the Soviets for the rest of the game, with us getting rescued by Reznov and lecturing Private Chernov about writing a journal. We then approach the Reichstag in Berlin and take out German soldiers and artillery guns. We then get inside and go through several large rooms, taking out German soldiers and reach the roof and pick up the Soviet flag, but then are shot by a German soldier, which Reznov then kills, and then has us plant the Soviet flag on top of the Reichstag, showing that the Soviets are now in control, and then shows one last cutscene.
It was solemn. General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The victory won in the West must now be won in the East.
We are gathered here, representatives of the major warring powers, to conclude a solemn agreement whereby peace may be restored. It is my earnest hope, and indeed the hope of all mankind, that from this solemn occasion a better world shall emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past. A world founded upon faith and understanding of man and the fulfillment of his most cherished wish for freedom, tolerance, and justice.
And that is Call of Duty World at War's campaign. Time to talk about everything else. There's the cooperative campaign, which allows you to play the campaign with up to 4 other people, and death cards, which are found in all the campaign missions, which give you special bonuses. It also has multiplayer, but it's basically just a reskin of Modern Warfare's multiplayer. It also has the iconic Nazi Zombies mode, which is mainly found in Treyarch COD games nowadays. It has you survive several rounds as long as you can, taking out German zombies, building cover, and finding new weapons and areas, and also getting certain power-ups. The main gameplay is identical to Modern Warfare. The only big changes are the theme of the game and that the dog attacks from Modern Warfare have been replaced with the Japanese banzai charge attacks. Everything else is the same as Modern Warfare. Graphically, it looks very similar to Modern Warfare because it's using a more enhanced version of the same engine used in Modern Warfare. It runs pretty good on both the Xbox 360 and PS3, but the PS3 has more performance issues. The Wii version looks pretty good for the Wii and has Wii Zapper support, and the PC version looks the best and has keyboard and mouse support. And that is Call of Duty World at War, one of the best games in the series, even though it feels like Modern Warfare was a World War II reskin. But the best part is, it just is.